So how much money did you lose on GameStonk?
That would be $0 because I'm a conservative investor. All my money is in SPY, SPY.
That is the safe and prudent thing to do with your savings.
Mm-hmm.
I decided I could outsmart the market. I wanted to listen to Papa Elon. I bought GameStop. And anyway, now I'm stuck with this thing and I'm out $2,500. It's a painful lesson.
Yeah, I'm like Bart Simpson. I just like betting that all the horses have a good time.
Fortunately, Homer was able to rescue her from Gamblor's Neon Claws.
Okay, no, but that's a different episode.
Well, the Simpsons fans will appreciate all of this nonsense.
Did you see that? I sent you the article in the Wall Street Journal about the hedge fund guys that just had randomly bought GameStop in December because they liked the stock and then ended up making like $700 million on it when all this dumb shit happened. But the thing that made them cash out was that Elon Musk tweeted about it and they were like, it's over. Get out.
Papa Elon, what'd you do? Oh, no.
It's like when your dad uses the meme. You're like, yep, it's
over. And your dad shows up and he's like, man, this is lit. Uh-oh. So where have you been lately?
I think my face is thinner. Do you think my face is thinner?
I thought you were looking a little thinner.
Yeah, okay. So the key to weight loss is to not consume any nutrition or water for 8 days.
That doesn't sound healthy.
Yeah, no, I mean, look at the results, though.
How'd that happen?
Yeah, so it turns out I had, like, giant gallstones.
And by giant, you mean?
I mean, like, literal charcoal briquettes inside my gallbladder. I mean, I think there were...
I saw the photo.
Yeah, I had...
He's not kidding. It really did look like a charcoal briquette in every aspect.
Yeah, I had 3 gallstones that I'm almost certain were 100% of the volume of my gallbladder.
Yeah, your gallbladder looked like a deflated balloon.
Yeah, and so one of them, a chip got loose, which caused me to have, like, intense pain and pancreatitis, which is, like, pancreas inflammation, which just makes you scream and have 10 out of 10 pain.
Yeah, it turns out it's complete agony.
So I went to the ER and I've been in the hospital for the last week.
And yet you're here.
Yeah.
You couldn't stay away.
Well, that happened last Monday. So we are now recording this on Thursday of the Thursday after the week. So it's 11 days? I don't know.
How many COVID tests did they give you?
They gave me one. I got the Q-tip jammer right when I went in the ER. It wasn't that bad. It was like, just a tenth of a second. You don't even notice it.
Oh, that's good to know.
No, it wasn't. People that complain about that, I was kind of like, all right, settle down after I had it.
You're the only person I see. I made it this long isolating. I'm holding out for the vaccine. I'm not just going to start doing stuff right now after it's now been almost a year.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything either. But like the moment I get that, we already talked about this. The moment I get that vaccine, I'm just running through the streets naked, ready to go, showing off my various scars.
Your various laparoscopy scars?
Yeah. But
okay.
So yeah, I was on a lot of Dilaudid the last week. It was delightful. Dilaudid is delightful.
That's
Yeah, no, that's
the first red flag for addiction potential.
So so there's a long running joke between my wife is, I had my appendix out in 2008 and, I had like a little button plunger thing that I think gave me morphine or whatever when I was recovering from it. And it was on like a governor, like you couldn't just hammer it all the time. But I was like, oh yeah, you could feel it though when it really came through. And I was like, it was good. And I talk about that with my wife and she's just like, and I'm like, I can't wait to go in the hospital again because I'm going to hammer that button. I'm so excited. And she's like, if you ever go in the hospital again, I'm telling them you're not getting anything. Like you're not allowed any opiates. She's very worried about opiate addiction.
Well, she should be.
She obviously she sees it all the time at work. But it was like always a joke between us that she was like, you're not allowed. I'm never letting them give you painkillers ever.
I don't think it was a joke on her side.
But so I was like, so she saw me in the middle of the night on Monday and drove me to the ER. But when I told her like a day later, I was like, yeah, I'm on like Dilaudid every couple hours. And like, oh, I needed it so good. And I was kind of wondering if I was going to get like backlash from her. And when I said that, she was just like, oh yeah, no, you need that. And
pancreatitis, very painful.
The fact that she was just like, nope, that's what you need. You should be receiving that every few hours. I was like, ooh, I really earned it.
Yeah, you sounded grim.
Yeah.
It was dark days.
It was horrifying. Yeah. When they ask you, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain? I was like, that was a 10. I know what a 10 is.
Ooh.
You've had, like, nothing happen to you, right?
No, I'm extraordinarily lucky in all regards.
Yeah. You've, like, never had surgery.
This GameStop thing's like the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
I know. You're just like, what's a cavity?
Yes. I've never had a cavity.
You never had a cavity?
No.
You never had surgery?
No.
God. Have you ever had to spend a night in a hospital?
Me personally?
Absent, like, Julie's given birth and you're, like, spending the night with Julie?
No.
That's...
Yeah, I'm very grateful for it, but also now I'm like, well, I don't have, that standard life experience. Now I'm on borrowed time. It's only a matter of time to, like, cut off a finger accidentally or something.
Yeah.
So I can't take it for granted. Today, on the Unofficial Shopify podcast, we should talk about Shopify. We are going to talk about how to scale your store. So I posted in our Facebook group, Unofficial Shopify Podcast Insiders, and I said, hey, what are your questions? What do you need? And there was a common theme to them, which all the questions such related to how do I scale my store? And so we're going to try and run through those and answer those with that theme in mind. And to help me do it, of course, is my wonderful co-host, business partner, and lead developer of many years, Paul Rita, recently released from the institution. I am so glad to have him back. All right. Would you like to read the first one?
Justin Baum asks, do scarcity and urgency apps work? If so, which ones do you recommend? And what do you think of post-purchase upsell apps? So that's like 2 questions. Scarcity and urgency apps. That's like a yes with a but.
Yes. Yes, but.
Yes, they do work. You got to do them right. They got to be the right kind of ones. The ones that, like...
The key is authenticity.
Yeah. It's got to be believable and not just like a clear lie.
But yeah, you'll see those scam stores. It'll be like it'll be an Instagram ad, and it'll have way too many 10,000 comments, and you'll click through to it, and there's every widget on there, and the widget says something like, "Oh, 1,000 people are viewing this right now, and 1,500 have it in their cart, and there's only 3 left." And then you hit refresh, and those numbers all change a little bit each time.
Oh no, even better is when it doesn't.
When it doesn't change at all.
Numbers don't change at all.
Oh, they're just static.
They're just like hard coded.
And technically, apps that fake those things violate the terms of service for the App Store.
Yeah, those are illegal.
Yeah, no, that's a naughty note, and you're not allowed to do it. But people still do it, or they do customizations to do it. So I think 100% scarcity and urgency work. As this morning, I tried to buy some $180 pair of Nikes in the Nike app, paid in the first 10 seconds of it going live because I knew that there was scarcity, and then that created urgency on my part. I had a reminder set. I did, and then I didn't even get them anyway. It said, "Well, we're seeing you're in line. We'll see if you got it." No, you didn't. And so 100% those concepts work. It's human nature, right? You can't avoid being attracted to urgency and scarcity and social proof. Like those 3 things really make you want to buy stuff as a human. But it is not okay to lie to people to achieve that end. So no matter how badly you want it, it's still, whatever urgency and scarcity you include needs to be authentic. And I think the right way to do it is similar to how those Nike shoe drops work. But today, when you showed up, you handed me a box from the front door. It was 3 bottles of buffalo wing sauce from Tacticalories. Why would I buy wing sauce off the internet and sign up to an SMS list to be notified about it? Because I know this stuff sells out so quickly. And so I stay on the Tacticalories newsletter so I could be informed when these product launches happen, because they sell out in the same day. And so I think that is the trick to get genuine scarcity and urgency, is train your customers that your stuff sells out. Selling out can be a good thing. It also makes it really easy to not to be able to predict how much inventory to buy, and then you're not sitting on a bunch of distressed inventory.
Yeah, and I think one of the things the main thing to me that you're fighting against when you're trying to sell online is the idea of, is this website a scam?
Yes.
Will I get the thing I'm ordering? Am I getting it at a reasonable, correct price? Like, all this other stuff. And having all of those scarcity apps just brings up the scamometer a couple points every time.
So I would say they work. Use them sparingly, like dessert. You only do stuff that's authentic. And as far as, but ultimately, you really just want to train customers, your recurring repeat customers, that your stuff sells out. So if it's a short purchase window, you need to make a decision. And that's really what the urgency is doing, is giving you a reason to buy. If I don't think it's going to sell out, I'm not forced to make a purchase decision right then.
I think there's really only two things. In my mind, there's only two you need to do. One of which is one of our apps, which is ShipTimer, because I think ShipTimer is an urgency app in that.
That's a really good urgency. And it's legitimate.
If you order it within the next 3 hours, you're going to get it by Tuesday or whatever, something like that. And it's just like, well, if you don't order it, you got to wait all the way till Wednesday. Come on, like just do it now. That's good. And the other is a little bit of a tweak we do. This can be done in Liquid very easily, where if you're tracking inventory and the inventory runs out, it stops being sold on the product. If it's under 10 left, it just says that. It's like, hey, we only have 7 of this left.
Yeah, and that's built into themes. You can have a theme customized to do it. Apps will do it. And we have an app that does it while supplies last.
Oh, while supplies last, does that too.
Which you wrote the core concept for that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm still in my special place, baby.
If you're skeptical about both of Paul's ideas, check out Amazon. They do both of these things. They'll say, hey, there's less than 25 in stock, order soon. And they'll say, oh, order in the next 2 hours, 44 minutes, and we'll ship same day.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But yeah, I think in terms of like, do I need like scarcity and urgency apps? You need those two.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, you don't have to buy them from us. You could,
there are other options, or they may be built into your theme.
Yeah, whatever. But I mean, and then once you start getting beyond that, where it's like 20 people have this in their cart, and then it's kind of like, okay, well, why do I give a shit?
While supplies last, we added that as a feature.
Don't like that.
It'll do. It's only if it's below a certain threshold. So it triggers it where it'll say like 10 left, and then it'll also say, and 3 people have this in their cart. And I saw Etsy do it, and I liked it so much, I went back and stuck it in the app.
I don't know.
That app's not. It doesn't look sketchy though, because it's not like a timer, an emoji.
Yeah.
It's very straightforward. And his other question was, what do you think of post-purchase upsell apps? Absolutely try them. I think this is such an easy thing to do now on Shopify, and it's a missed opportunity for a lot of people. The offering an upsell to increase average order value pays dividends, and often offering it on the order confirmation page has the highest take rate. And because they make it so easy now, in the past you had to replace your checkout to make this work. Now it's just native in Shopify. I don't think there's a reason not to try it. That would be my professional advice. So Zipify OOCU, one-click upsell, Bold upsell, Cart Hook. There's a whole bunch of apps that'll do it. Angus Fraser asks, what is the effect of a theme change on SEO? The fundamental site structure will remain the same. He's right. However, a few URLs will be different. I'm worried this will reset my SEO. I don't see how a theme change would change any URL.
Yeah, I didn't want to like speak out of turn, but I was like, how does a theme change any URLs? It doesn't.
And well, unless it would be, I was updating my navigation. I don't know. No, you're right. The theme change itself, Shopify has done such a good job of separating content and style from the theme to the store, that changing themes really should not have an impact on your SEO. Where it does have an impact on SEO is in technical SEO in the page template itself, semantic HTML.
Oh, yeah.
So how the structure of the page, essentially the HTML describes to Google what is on that page. So your rich snippet data, where it'll say in a Google search, in stock and with the price, that's part of the technical SEO, and how the theme itself is laid out. But I think at this point, any good theme developer will 100% have a grasp on this. Any theme in the Shopify theme store, Shopify does check to make sure, hey, this stuff, you've got these best practices in place. So I really, unless it's something from, like Template Monster, something like that. Oh, don't do that. But But if it's from a competent theme developer or the Shopify theme store, I really don't think you have any SEO fears when changing themes.
Yeah, I think, do a check on that microdata like you were talking about, just to make sure that held. But if you're talking about something like, I got this one blog post that's really banging and I'm worried that changing themes is going to screw up my Google ranking, like that is not something that will happen in any way.
No, it really shouldn't. You will be okay, I swear. Present us with our next question.
Melita Cyril wants to know, are there any benchmarks for gross margin for successful e-commerce stores after COGS and shipping? Looking to set goals for this in the next year or so and only focus on products that meet this margin. I don't know. I guess you have a special piece of paper that you spent a lot of money for that says that you know about business.
I received a scholarship.
I put down some college on my applications. So what do you got to say?
Well, initially my answer was, well, there's too many variables. I don't know. But I think there are, from working in enough of these stores, I think there are some benchmarks, some rules of thumb, and some guidance. But I would take it with a grain of salt. I wouldn't take it too seriously. But this is what I've seen. I think in a drop shipping store, you're essentially working on commission. So you've got a really tiny profit margin where our largest drop shipping client, I think they probably, and I don't know this for sure, but my guess would be they take home about 8%.
Jesus.
Yeah, dropshipping's rough.
That sucks.
Dropshipping also, it depends so hugely on what category you're in. But that's also, one of those instances where, when you have that slim margin, you really want to be doing those upsells, those post-purchase upsells. And that's where people, I think, out of desperation also start putting in all those nasty widgets we talked about earlier. So that's the toughest one. If you're doing private label, where someone else manufactures the product, but it is under your brand name, it is yours. Those do a lot better. Sometimes my guess would be if a store like that is set up really well, it's 50% is what they're going to take home. If it's really slick, I don't know what it costs to acquire traffic. That's always the wild card here. And then I think the third one, the real magic is you make your own goods. You design goods, you have them manufactured for you, but it's an original work, or you manufacture it yourself and sell it. If it's a luxury good, that could be 10x. That could sell at 10x cost of goods sold. So that stuff could be 5 to 10x. So in that scenario, all right, now we've got a way bigger profit margin. But that's also where we start to see spending a lot more.
Yeah, you're like building a goddamn factory.
Yeah. In our business, I'm looking for 50%.
So that 8% number, that's not inclusive of like advertising.
No, that's where you really get eaten alive.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to say. If your advertising costs go up, it's like, well, not making any money this month.
And that I think is an extreme example. But this question, there's just so many variables. I just wanted to walk through 3 working examples. And all of those, I have in my head a specific business in mind that uses those figures. But it's all anecdotal. So, some benchmarks, some rules of thumb. Graham Komata asks, what are the first things you should be outsourcing? What are the tasks you should never outsource? And then he says he's considering outsourcing first contact for B2B wholesale accounts to set appointments, answer basic questions, and drive further contact with contractors and potential retailers. I think the answer is you outsource whatever you don't want to do. It is almost, I would say 9 times out of 10, you will never regret buying back your time. And that's what outsourcing lets you do.
Yeah.
You buy back your time. You're not going to buy back your time on a thing you love to do. Like, my wife loves building Legos. She's not going to hire someone to build Legos for her, but we have to have someone keep the books. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it. So it's totally worth it to pay a couple $100 a month to have someone else handle it for me. So I think it's going to depend on the person and what what excites you about your business. But that's the way to look at it. You could buy back your time on just about anything. So what's the stuff that you don't want to do? And then when you get the overlap of like, I love this example he gave of outsourcing first contact for B2B wholesale. He doesn't have to be doing that. It's time consuming, but it's also potentially hugely valuable if he gets a few good accounts out of it. So I say you look for that overlap, stuff you don't want to do, and you can outsource it, and you could do it in a cost-effective fashion.
And stuff you're bad at.
And stuff you're bad at.
It's like the thing where you're like, I know I got to do this for my business, and I kind of half-ass it every month, but I really don't know how to do this. Like, okay, there's the first thing.
And like a lot of times the stuff you need to do but don't do compounds. So I'd skip doing the bookkeeping.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, it's like, oh, well, now we're doing 10 months of bookkeeping. Crap.
I remember there was one like January where you were like, I'm going to read you a list of check numbers, and then you are going to tell me the amount of money in that check, and we're going to add all this up.
It was so bad. It was in that moment that I knew. I was like, all right, this is the last year we half-assed this. And actually, as an example, if you want to outsource bookkeeping, check out bench.co.
Yeah.
I really like it.
We're all set. We got all our tax documents. Like, I could have started my taxes this week.
Oh, it was so, yeah. It is really cool because it's a thing I don't want to do. And just magically, in January, Bench says, hey, here is the package to hand over to your bookkeeper. Look it over. If it makes sense, give it to them. I did it, or to your CPA. I did it. A week later, taxes are done. I just forward an email and the taxes get done. That's magical. That's totally worth a couple $100 a month.
Yeah.
Mr. Christopher Carr asks, how do you set up digital download products in Shopify? Which, info products, that business,
Yeah.
99%
Talk about
profit.
Profit margins. Christ.
Oh my God, you're selling an imaginary item.
I love it. I love them so much.
Info products so good.
It's like we talk about, you and I like fantasize. We're like, we should like find something and then we'll sell it. Like we should use our own magic to like sell a product to people.
We should be selling courses.
I know, but
It's so time consuming.
But what I'm saying is anytime we kind of previously had that fantasy, it was always like a physical good we were trying to figure out. Yeah. Oh yeah. Show off your watch.
Paul got me a cool Casio vintage watch.
That was his birthday
for my
present.
birthday present. And I love vintage digital Casio watches. I'm up to 3 or 4 of them. I think I'm gonna get a calculator watch. They're great because they're like $25-$30. They're so much fun.
So and now I realize that if we actually did do that, we would like kill ourselves because it's like, wait a minute, we sold this thing for $30, but it costs us like 15. Like, what the hell kind of margin is that? As opposed to selling like our various courses or the holiday guide or stuff like that, where every marginal one we sell is 99% profit margin.
Right.
It's like, oh.
Now, that ignores I don't know what the effective hourly rate is. It's good, but it ignores the effort up front to build it, to create the product, do the product launch, build the audience, and then support the thing afterward.
The profit margin on the first one is like negative 10,000%.
Yes.
And
then it gets better with each subsequent one. But people are saying, they're like, wait, why am I selling stuff instead of info products? You can do both if it makes sense, especially if you're in if you're in a hobby space. Say you're in, you sell drone parts for drone racing. Well, put together a video course on, hey, here's how you build your first racing drone. If you can do that, that becomes this tremendously valuable asset. You could both sell it, you could distribute it on other course platforms to try and build your audience, and you can use it as a lead magnet or giveaway. You cut up into bite-sized pieces. It's social content as well.
And that's something that we do all the time, which, that digital good just becomes like a freebie. You just hand out to people willy-nilly. And it's just like, oh, well, spend $200 on the store and you get the guide on how to build the racing drone.
Yes.
It's like, okay, that cost you nothing. You just did a product upsell. You just upsold them to buying $200 worth of stuff. You gave them nothing in return. Cost you nothing.
So for people who do print on demand stuff, they experience this in that, they don't have to carry inventory. They just get paid out when the stuff sells. Someone else fulfills it. It's like magic. Now imagine you kept 100% of the money on whatever t-shirt you sold. Instead of, you kept $7 out of 30. If you're lucky, you're keeping 29 out of 30. Wow. That's where digital products are really exciting and make a lot of sense. The downside is it's creative content that you have to produce. You probably hire someone to do it, though.
Outsourcing.
That's right. You could outsource it. My grandfather-in-law is always he's like, you should get someone else to make content for you and then sell that as an info product. I'm thinking about it. I'd consider it. Joel Torgeson asks, that's such a great last name. Has a nice rhythm to it. Joel Torgeson.
Seems very Minnesotan.
Maybe it's Swedish. I don't know. I'd be curious to hear about influencer marketing do's and don'ts. I don't know that I can think of any current clients doing traditional influencer marketing where, you find some Yahoo on Instagram or YouTube, you give them your product and some money, and then they promote it.
All of our clients are the influencer.
Yes.
They've become the Yahoo.
Yes. Increasingly, I think the magic to building, if you're setting your sights on like really big e-commerce brand, I think the magic is you need a person, you need an authority figure, you need an influencer, you need a content marketer. You pair that to your private label or original good. Maybe you augment it with dropshipping and info products, and then that's how you churn out a 7 to 8 figure store. You got to have that person. And a good example, Tactical Baby Gear. Beeve became that person.
Yeah.
This character. And it's so great, and he's so good at it. Or, and this is like, so he was able to do it for himself. And, or a larger one, you find someone who can be your content partner. So like Overlander they were able to sell, they knew they could sell the products, but they wanted great content for it, but they knew, all right, let's get someone else to work on this with us. So they found Expedition Overland, and that became the content partner. Or like, Hoonigan has Ken Block, but how many times do you find Ken Block?
So it's not, so the world of like, this woman on Instagram has like 500,000 followers. I'm going to give her X amount of dollars to like pose it with a photo with my product. We know 0 people that do that.
Currently. And the issue is not that it's a bad thing and it can't work. There was a gold rush on it, and there's so many people who are faking it, and it's so hard to tell who's real and who isn't.
I mean, I've heard so many horror stories where they give them a URL that has, some kind of tracking code in it, and then they check the URL and it's like 10 hits, like 0 purchases.
Yes.
Like this was pointless. It was like buying a TV ad in the 50s. You're just like, okay, well, you got in front of a bunch of eyeballs, I guess, but nothing actually happened.
I would say if an influencer approaches you, I wouldn't trust it. If you go looking on a marketplace for an influencer, maybe if you really do your due diligence, but only spend money you're prepared to lose if you're going to do that. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. My wife used FameBit, hired 2 influencers. One was huge, literally drove 0 traffic, had over 100,000 followers, looked great. And the other one, way smaller, on YouTube, drove a ton of stuff, and they developed a relationship out of it. So I think if you have a relationship with the influencer, it's a different thing. It's when it's just someone you don't know who is, that's their job, is trying to sell sponsored content.
They just sell slots every week. And you're just one of the slots. I mean, I think
that's where you got to be careful.
In the grand scheme of places to put your money, that is all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If it's, you have that personal relationship, fine. If not, tread lightly.
Yeah.
Anthony Watts
says, what should you look for in a web developer for redoing websites, e.g. what to watch out for?
You're a web developer. What do you think?
This might get a little personal. To me, I would say I'm against, and this could literally just be like Paul being idiosyncratic about how he does things, but it's people that are extremely fiddly and add too many steps. Like this thing where it's like, well, we need to do wireframing first. The wireframing is going to cost you like $20,000, but that will give us, so many insights in how to properly like put together this project. And then, we need to do stage 2, which is we're going to build like a mood board, and we're going to, it's just like that shit over and over again. It's just like,
they turn the whole project into bike shedding, and then they bill you for it.
Yeah.
And they told you it was a great idea.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
We worked on a project back in the dark days when we did stuff for marketing agencies, and they had hired a different big famous Chicago agency to like only do what was it, a wireframe?
Well, they said, hey, we'll hire you to do this website. And it turned into, all right, well, the first proposal was literally just for wireframes, but it was in a really slick package. But it cost 15, 20 grand.
Yeah.
And then the actual design cost more. And it wasn't even the entire site. It was like, here's key templates and a little bit of a branding guide. So all maybe they ended up 50 grand all in, and all they had for it were a few PSDs.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know if when he says web developer, he's including that means design, or that means like the dork that writes it, or what.
Well, so I think with a web developer, you want to make sure they have experience in what you're trying to do. So say, hey, can you show me? Just give me 3 examples of similar projects you've worked on.
Well, and for all the people we're talking to right here, they need to show you other Shopify stores they've done.
Yeah, number one, if the person's primary focus or sole focus isn't Shopify, and Shopify's big enough now, you could find people who all they do is Shopify. We've done Shopify exclusively for 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah. And I mean, I couldn't tell you how many stores we worked on where there's like weird ass, like bootstrap, like backwards stuff where it's like kind of made a Shopify theme out of bootstrap.
Yeah, we inherit. The problem is when a competent web developer who doesn't necessarily have Shopify experience goes and builds a theme, they don't follow, because they don't know, it's not their fault, these Shopify best practices when in theme development.
Yeah.
And then it just cascades on down the line where we inherit what you lovingly call Jenga tower themes.
Yeah. And, well, that's a little different. Those are ones that like 10 other developers have poked at. It's 3 years old and everything. There's just holes.
There's one I have in mind.
There's one right now that is on my list that I have feelings about. Yeah, I mean, to me, in terms of the actual developer guys, it's, I shouldn't say this, but it's places where they're just like, to me, a pet peeve is like they're just using a lot of unnecessary technologies just to show. It's like we need a sledgehammer, but we need a sledgehammer. That's it. Just like get the sledgehammer out. We're going to set this up. And they're like, well, actually, I bought this very special like automatic laser hammer, and we're going to be doing this. And well, we need a special generator for that hammer.
They overcomplicate it.
It's just like, just get the sledgehammer. Let's go.
You want an operator.
Yeah.
I want 2 things. I want someone who has enough Shopify experience to implement those best practices, because that's an investment in this thing not being painful to maintain later. That's number 1. So just, hey, how long you been working on Shopify? Can you show me some examples, some other themes you built?
Yeah.
Cool. That's number 1. Number 2, you want an operator. You want someone who is interested in getting the work done as opposed to overcomplicating it.
Yeah. Or
for the sake of billable hours.
Well, for the sake of billable hours, and also for the sake of like
their ego.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys in my business that are just like really get off on like the cool thing that they did.
The shiny toy.
It's just like, well, look how I executed this. And it's just like, I don't care, man. I do not care.
Does it work? Does it sell?
Does it work? It's like, did it work? Did you make money on the billing from the client? And like, you got to go buy a new TV. Like, that's great. Job well done. But yeah, this thing where it's like everything is a weird backwards somersault. It's like, I don't care.
To serve your ego, so you can feel like you compiled something as a web developer.
Where it's just like, why are we like kind of compiling code? It's just like, just write the fucking CSS, dude.
Yeah, get out of your feelings, get your results.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm a heretic when I say that.
All right, moving on to Shirley Burdell, who says, ad creative, work on it in-house or outsource it. What works for product brands in 2021? Long form, short form, videos, pictures. Oh my gosh. I love this question because I tell you one thing. The brands, the Facebook ad accounts that we've managed and the clients we've worked with who are really successful buying traffic from the traffic store, i.e. Facebook, have one thing in common. It is just a constant flow of new creative. So we're always testing something new. And what works one month may not necessarily work the next month. So, but certainly multimedia content works in most Shopify product spaces. So you want a mix of photos and videos, and ideally you make a short video and a long video. And the advantage to that is the long video works on the 10-minute video will work on YouTube and in posts and on the website, and the 30-second video will work as a Facebook ad. So once you're already in the effort of making video, like we make a YouTube version of the show, I don't really make it for YouTube. I make it because I want the social content. So what's great about video...
The magic is not the 1 hour YouTube video. The magic is the cut downs, the little 5-minute blocks that you're throwing up on Twitter and on the Facebook group.
Yeah. Yeah, the video editors at Hoonigan taught me that phrase. They call it the cut down. I'm like, oh, now it's the cut down. I need a 30-second cut down of this.
You're like, I'm a pro.
Yeah, I'm a film producer now. Yeah, call me Francis Ford Coppola.
Don't be him. He always loses all his money.
Oh no, what about his vineyard?
That's the only thing that makes the money.
That's funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he famously gets out over his skis where he was just like, fuck you, I'll make it myself. And then he'll make,
and he finances it himself?
He finances it himself, and it's like, oh, that movie made like $2 million. You made negative $28 million on that movie. Like everything he made post 1987, like 1987 to 2000 was just him being like, that pays off that debt, that pays off that debt.
It gets the job done. You need a little financial pain sometimes to get motivated. So no, I think in-house or outsource, the most successful ad accounts we've worked on, they did the creative in-house, but that just isn't practical for everybody. It just isn't. And so if it makes more sense, do the one that makes more sense to you, whether you outsource it or do it in-house, or you could do both. You could use outsource to try and figure out what works, then bring it in-house, etc.
I mean, I feel like the answer to this question, of every piece of this question, what works? Like, should it be this? Like, should it be that? Is just yes.
Yeah.
The answer to this is yes, everything.
Yeah, just make the content and keep making fresh content. I want monthly fresh content.
Yeah, it's like, is the monthly fresh content 10 seconds? Cool. Is the monthly fresh content 10 minutes? Cool. And is it a photo? Cool.
At the start of the show, we talked about urgency and scarcity, and I said, like, those are the things the human brain, you just triggers things that make us buy. You know, the other thing the human brain really loves? Novelty. The human brain craves novelty. So seeing the same ad over and over will make you remember it, but it won't make you interested in it. Whereas seeing different content on the same theme for the same product, now you're getting both. You're getting those touch points, you're getting trust, and you're getting people engaged with it.
CJ Flood wants to know, what are the often overlooked opportunities for brands in the bracket of 0 to 100K, 100K to 1 million, 1 million to 5 million, 5 million to 50 million,
I like
50 million to 5 billion.
All right, he didn't say that last one.
He didn't say the last two.
And I'm assuming that we're referring to annual revenue numbers here for these figures.
Oh, I just assumed that was like per minute.
Every 15 seconds. Shopify's on fire.
They got that little thing in the app, and it's just like constantly going. They can't sleep at night.
The notifications made me crazy. That'd be a good problem to have, wouldn't it? So 0 to 100,000. I'm going to go with the overlooked things, the things I have seen businesses in these brackets struggle with, break through, and then succeed because of. 0 to 100,000, it really is about nailing down the messaging and the positioning. Who's buying this? Why are they buying it? What pain am I solving? And when you understand that, and then you can communicate that, and then you can target your customer, life gets a lot easier. Now, of course, all of this assumes you're offering something that people want. And until you put it out there and ask people for their money, for them to open their wallet for you, you're not going to know if they want it or not. But that's in that early stage, all the apps, all the tactics, it's just nonsense until you nail that cornerstone of positioning and knowing who's buying it and why. Figure that out. And then once you have it figured out, just plaster it everywhere so it is clear to you, the customer, and everybody else. When you have that figured out, okay, now we can get 100K to 1 million. That stage is really about finding a traffic source that scales and finding a channel that'll work for you. So, maybe we figured out Facebook ads, and then we outsourced our content, and we figured out what worked, and then we brought it in-house, then we were making content nonstop, and we built a studio, that kind of thing. Finding the one channel that works, doubling down on it, getting really good at it, and just scale with laser focus. That's what's going to get you to 1 million. Once you're there, it is very much about, okay, we have systems and processes and built a team. And that's where, you want to read a book like Traction and figure out how we're going to do reporting. Those are the pitfalls, I think, that occur in those various revenue brackets.
In that $100K to $1 million range, I think that's the zone where you got to get your email right. I think you can hit $1 million. You can hit $1 million a year without your email right, but you're not going from 1 to 5 without getting your email right.
You got it. Yes. And I can think of a store that was bad at email and now is doubling down on email, and it is scaling.
Yeah. I mean, I think people, it's just, that's the engine of the entire machine.
That own channel
is the email. And so I think, 100, below 100K, it's like you got a whole lot of problems. You got a whole lot of things you got to worry about. Like, I understand you probably don't even have the user base yet to even do it. But like, if you're cranking out 6 figures a year on the store, you've got enough to figure out how to get the email absolutely perfect. And I think that's the stage to do it. And then like the year that occurs after you do that is just printing money.
100%. I'm with you. Martha Vivian. Paul, is there a podcast that you listen to weekly or a podcast that you love? I feel overwhelmed when I search for Shopify or e-commerce podcasts. There's so many.
Well, she derailed that question because there are many podcasts I listen to weekly. 0 of them are about e-commerce or Shopify, so it might not be helpful.
How many business podcasts do you think I subscribe to?
You?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to take it back. I don't think you subscribe to more. It's definitely not more than 5.
It's 0.
Yeah. Okay.
They're so boring. Business podcasts are boring.
Yeah.
And it very much didn't want our show to be boring. And I got a soundboard, put some fart noises on it.
You know what? I want to say, I don't know if this is because of my, because of my condition or whatever, like you're trying not to agitate me, but you have not hit it at all this whole time.
Okay, so pretty much I have to now.
I saw you tweet the Roadcaster was in WandaVision.
Yes, yeah, the thing we used to record the podcast and use the soundboard, they used it as a prop in WandaVision. It's because it was like cool and sci-fi. I thought it was funny.
Well, I think Darcy was using it to like route the sound from the WandaVision fantasy.
Yes, it looked good and it made sense.
Yeah,
and they had a QR code sticker that they put over the logo, and it drove me crazy. I was like, I want to scan the QR code. It didn't work. Oh well. So no, but all right. So I said I don't subscribe to any business podcasts.
I mean, I'm sure if you search for Shopify and e-commerce podcasts, oof.
Yeah.
Oh, there are so many of them, and it's just drop shipping, blow my brains out.
So, all right, if I had to pick, I've been on many, and I have listened to them one-off. I just don't subscribe, is the truth. E-commerce Influence with Austin Browner is very good, and they have good banter. Like the co-host setup is similar to ours. It's good. E-commerce Fuel with Andrew Udarian is long-running, longer than ours, and very good. And a Shopify side, In Conversation with Shopify Plus, the caliber of guests they got on there is quite extraordinary. Episode 1 is Steve Madden from as in like Steve Madden shoes.
Like John Madden's brother?
Are they related?
No.
Okay, good. I was like, uh-oh. I don't know. He's messing with me. Or maybe he's not. You know a lot of trivia. If you ask me, I never know if you're messing with me or not. So there's your answer. And the dark truth about me and business podcasts. It's also because I don't want to be influenced. Like, I don't want to listen to what other people do and then just copy that. So I kind of avoid it.
Yeah.
She had a follow-up question. Martha Vivian, what are your top 3 Shopify sites?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're just all, who knows if a site's a Shopify site or not.
I look at the URL structure is how I figure it out.
If I'm like on a store and I'm like, this store is cool, and I click view source and then you can see it right away.
Yeah.
But, it's like not a thing I note.
I could tell you...
when I'm not doing work actively for our business, I put 0 thought into e-commerce and Shopify. I'm just going to be honest. Sorry,
I think about it all the time.
Oh my God.
It turned into my way of life.
I know.
Which is why I can't listen to business podcasts about it. You can't, I need something else. My entertainment can't also be e-commerce. The top 3 Shopify sites.
I mean, for me, it's Overlanders right now. It's obviously the thing we're most proud of. We have it's just the stuff we work on. Because the other
Overlander's super cool.
The other stuff floating out there, I'm like, it doesn't register in my brain.
Doing design work recently, I was looking for inspiration on designs, and so I looked at some other Shopify stores. And Nugs, I've talked a lot about. I like Nugs. Nugs is so crazy. I think, and they do a lot of interesting things. And I like the big bold design. So number 1, Nugs, I like. Number 2, Judy. Judy.co. It's a emergency preparedness kit And then you pick like what size you want. Like, do you want a giant Rubbermaid of emergency supplies or a fanny pack? And they have everything in between. And it was one of Oprah's favorite things last year for Christmas. And so Judy, I like a lot. And as a third site, I'm going to go with Baboon to the Moon. Baboon to the Moon, I found recently, and it's anti-design without being offensive. It's good. Oh, Pit Vipers.
Oh, God.
Oh, Pit Vipers. Yeah. Love me some Pit
How
Vipers.
stupid of us to even think.
Yeah. No, I like these really just aggressively unusual designs. And that's because I stare at websites all day and I think about websites all day. So I get pushed toward the really atypical stuff. So you shouldn't necessarily want to be like some of these stores, depending on what you're selling. It depends on your niche.
Taylor Page wants to know top book recommendations for growing your business. Again, don't read business books. Can't tell you.
That's funny. I do enjoy business books. I've not, with the pandemic, I haven't read any, and really I listen to them on Audible. But and it depends where you're at. But I like, if you're early on, E-Myth. The E-Myth is a really good book. If you're trying to scale from 1 million to 5 million, I think Traction is the way to go. And if you're trying to go from 100,000 to 1 million, you should focus on books about product launches. And so I think Ask is a good book. Product Launch Formula is a good book. So those are my recommendations. And in that order, E-Myth, Ask, Product Launch Formula, then Traction. There you go.
All right.
I mean, I could have made all those titles up for all we know.
Yeah, I can't fact check that.
Not that we fact check anything on the show, just to be clear, we're not journalists. This is just two guys talking. Daniel Mendez, what's Kurt's process when he optimizes the conversion rate for any Shopify store?
Load the store up. Just look at the problems.
Nailed it.
Well, see if it loads crappy when you load it, and if it doesn't load crappy, then it's just like the expertise of being like, that looks bad.
So it is. It's really.
I mean, in my mind, that's when I do it. When you're like, Paul, take a look at the store and tell me what the problems are. It's just pretty much me using my decade plus experience and just kind of being like, that's bad. Make that better, and that's it.
So it's true. Number one is what's broken on this store. You would be surprised the amount of stuff that is broken on your store that you have just either you got used to it or you just never noticed it in the first place. So there's number one, fix what's broken. Number two, implement best practices. So it's stuff the stuff that comes with experience. It's the things that other websites have trained us all to expect. Those are the best practices. So that's phase two. Then phase three, all right, let's see. There's how we think people are using this website and how they're actually using it. So let's use heat maps and let's use screen recordings with Hotjar. I like Hotjar. Other people use Lucky Orange. I'm a Hotjar guy myself. And so, all right, let's figure out what are they clicking on that they shouldn't? What are they not clicking on that they should? What can we do about this? All right, now we're at this point, we should have a pretty optimized site. After that, assuming that everything went as we expected, then the final one is, hey, let's throw stuff against the wall. That's split testing. When we talk about conversion rate optimization, everyone wants to go straight to split testing. No, that's the absolute last step is split testing. There's the process. There's your $1 million business idea. Enjoy.
The Hotjar is where you collect your farts.
What? Oh, hold on. I have a sound drop for that.
Doesn't work if you need to navigate through a menu.
I know. I got too many. I got to rearrange them. What if I took the farts off? I took the farts off.
Ew.
That's the best I got. I blew it. Last question.
One. Raul Benavides wants to know, I am starting a new project on Turbo and want to use Recharge for subs. Pros and cons. What are your thoughts about subscription apps on Turbo? I don't know. Why wouldn't they work? Why would Turbo be different than any other theme?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so earlier I said, hey, if you're going to change themes, don't get one from just a random store. Get one from a trusted developer or the Shopify theme store. If you pick a popular theme, which falls into that under that umbrella, pretty much all apps should install in it. It's when you get into custom apps that follow some odd framework, So or a custom theme, even a custom theme that follows a default framework will work fine. But it's when you get into these just strangely built apps that it starts to get hard to install apps in them, and their auto installers break, and you get a request manual, you get a bunch of problems. With I think any of the out of the sandbox theme or the other major Shopify theme developers, and especially Turbo, just about any app should auto install in that.
Oh yeah,
because it's a very popular theme.
So popular. Like,
so the app developers want their stuff to install in that.
Well, and the app developers, 9 times out of 10, they're like, well, we'll install it manually if it doesn't work. It's like, I don't want to have to freaking go install it manually. So they got to figure out how to get that system all set up so they don't have to touch it ever again.
Yeah. No, so yeah, you're good is the short answer. Recharge or bold subscriptions. Good to go. All right. I would love to hear your thoughts on this episode. And if you want to be able to get your questions in for the next time we do a Q&A episode, join our Facebook group, Unofficial Shopify Podcast Insiders, and come talk to us.
I've been meaning to tell you this for weeks, and I finally get a chance to tell you about it because I wanted to do it on the podcast. They are doing a remaster of, I believe his name is Abel Gance, who's a Frenchman. They're doing a remaster of his film he made about Napoleon. It was a silent film from the 1920s. And the special thing about this film, it is the widest movie ever made.
What's the aspect ratio?
It's shot in 4:1. There are sequences shot in 4:1. And so, because he literally was like, this was before widescreen was really invented. So he's like, I got an idea. Put 3 cameras next to each other.
Oh, I've seen this.
So, and it's shot, so it's 4:1 because it was 4:3 and there's 3 next to each other. So I just want to tell you about that because of my hatred of no one on the website using aspect ratios. So now I'm waiting for one of our clients to make us implement 4:1 video on their store.
Yeah, I think you're going to be waiting a while. On that note, let's head out.